been to the Olympics with boxing. I've been to 5 different weight classes, and I fought the best in my era. The key punch in boxing is the...
Hold me back!
Terence Crawford isn't just using new training methods to prepare for his fight against Canelo Alvarez, he's also added a new trainer to his team. The goal is to focus on specific workout techniques to help overcome his weight disadvantage on fight night. After an intense training session, Crawford and Mayweather had some fun in the ring, sparring and testing their skills against each other. It's no surprise that Terence Crawford has kicked off a mini training camp ahead of his September fight against Canelo Alvarez, just after recovering from an injury. The undefeated world champion plans to ramp up his training intensity as the fight approaches. He's already off to an impressive start, experimenting with new training techniques and weight-building methods to minimize his size disadvantage in the ring.
I think, I take more chances.
Excuse me, Crawford.
Right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So,
Just as Crawford mentioned, he and Mayweather share a lot in common. However, boxing fans have often compared the two to determine who is the better fighter. A recent source even favored Crawford as the likely winner in a head-to-head matchup. But when it comes to pure boxing ability, few can match the masterful displays of the sweet science that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has delivered.
On which Floyd Mayweather you talk about? Do you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy.
Mayweather's precision jab, impeccable timing, and elite counter-punching skills allowed him to dismantle a long list of opponents. He achieved this across 2 distinct phases of his career, showcasing his evolution as a fighter.
He's going to reach with the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the Gomez here at the engine.
As Crawford pointed out, Pretty Boy Floyd was the more aggressive version, pressing the action against opponents, while Money Mayweather later relied on intelligence and precision to outclass his rivals. No matter which style you prefer, both eras shaped the legend of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Similarly, boxing fans are still amazed by Crawford's dominant performance against Spence in his last fight.
He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown that time.
Whether it was the power jab he consistently snapped through Spence's guard, his sharp counters in traffic, or his impeccable timing, Crawford showcased elite boxing skills. It wasn't the first time, but we had never seen it displayed so dominantly against a fighter of Spence's caliber. When it comes to pure boxing ability, few can be mentioned alongside Mayweather. However, Crawford's style, while different, is just as effective, and at times, even explosive. So how would their skills compare if Crawford faced Mayweather in his prime? Would Crawford's laser-sharp punches break through Mayweather's disciplined defense? Who would establish the jab first? Who would be the superior counter-puncher? With so many ways this fight could unfold, the best answer might be to call this matchup a draw. How many times have we seen Mayweather lure his opponents to the center of the ring, where he processed their movements, analyzed their tendencies, and devised a blueprint to break them down? His unmatched ring IQ, combined with his mantra of hit and not get hit, carried him to the Hall of Fame as an undefeated 5-division world champion. Crawford, having become undisputed at junior welterweight and now welterweight, has displayed an elite ring IQ of his own. While Mayweather's hand speed, especially in counterpunching, was exceptional, Crawford's sharp angles and explosive delivery give him the edge in speed. Looking at their records, Mayweather secured 27 knockouts and 50 wins, whereas Crawford boasts 31 knockouts and 40 victories, and he's still active. Revisiting Crawford's dominance over Spence, he dropped him 3 times en route to a commanding 9th-round TKO. Defeating a relentless power puncher like Spence, who systematically broke down Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yadenis Uvas to unify the welterweight division, was no easy feat yet. Crawford made it look effortless, with his power playing a major role. Mayweather, on the other hand, was a defensive mastermind, using the Philly shell to absorb shots with his arm while setting up precise counters. His ability to control distance, raise his shoulder for defense, and pick his punches with precision was defensive boxing at its absolute finest.
Look at this fence, unbelievable. The young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong.
Everywhere and then he's nowhere. You think you can.
And again, it's not just hand quick.
Crawford possesses impressive defensive skills, but Mayweather took the art of defense to near perfection. That raises the question, how would a fight between Crawford and a prime Mayweather actually play out? After a tense first round of feeling each other out, Crawford would likely be the busier fighter early on, throwing and landing shots, even if many are absorbed by Mayweather's shoulder and elbow. As the fight progresses into the middle rounds, Mayweather's signature style would begin to take over, using his jab to control the pace and bank rounds with precision.
The movement of the head, the way he rolls with punches. Look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, here we go. Through a series of punches and nothing really landed. Terrific fight for Mayweather.
With relentless pressure, Crawford's firepower could break through Mayweather's defense, even managing to hurt the legend at times. As competitive as this matchup would be, Crawford's aggressive style and whiplash-inducing punches might sway the judges in his favor, rewarding his pressure and volume over Mayweather's defensive mastery, potentially leading to a points victory. Well known in the boxing world for his exceptional skills and unbeaten record, Terence Crawford is a testament to the power of disciplined training and strategic conditioning. His preparation for the upcoming fight against Canelo Alvarez blends intense physical training with a strong mental approach, setting him apart from many fighters. Crawford's current training regimen is a well-rounded mix designed to sharpen his boxing skills, maintain peak physical condition, increase punching power, and add the necessary weight to compete with Canelo. A typical day in his camp includes circuit training with weights, strength, and conditioning drills to enhance speed and agility, core work where McIntyre throws a heavy medicine ball at his stomach while he does crunches, mountain runs, and swimming. Terence Crawford is a big fan of swimming for cardio, often swimming for 30 minutes to an hour each night. It's a low-impact exercise that's easy on the joints while aiding recovery and muscle regeneration. Since swimming doesn't come naturally to him, he has to push himself harder, making it a different kind of endurance training compared to running. This added challenge significantly boosts his cardiovascular conditioning. When it comes to boxing training, Crawford is always focused on sharpening both his offensive and defensive skills. This is evident in his pad work, where his precision and adaptability stand out. One of his biggest strengths is his ability to switch seamlessly between orthodox and southpaw stances. Initially, his coaches encouraged him to stick to one stance, but they eventually recognized that training him in both gave him a unique advantage, a skill he continues to refine today. Sparring has always been a key part of Crawford's training, especially in the early days of his career. He was so impressive that even top fighters like Timothy Bradley took notice. Now, as one of the best boxers in the world, other fighters seek him out for sparring, but few manage to get the better of him. Despite being naturally right-handed, Crawford is just as dangerous fighting as a southpaw, making him an unpredictable and formidable opponent in the ring. When Crawford spars, he frequently showcases his world-class left hand. Boxing fans know that developing punching power takes relentless dedication, and one of the key tools for building this is the heavy bag. As a professional boxer, Crawford is no exception. He uses the heavy bag to refine his punching technique and build shoulder endurance. Watching Crawford in action, you can see him throwing powerful punches, fast combinations, and everything in between. To maximize the benefits of his training, Crawford varies the rhythm of his punches, sometimes hitting the bag with light taps and at other times delivering full-force strikes. A key exercise in Crawford's training routine is working on the pads with his coaches, which helps him improve his overall boxing skills. Having worked with his coaches for most of his life, one of the most important aspects of his training is these pad sessions. During these drills, Crawford doesn't focus on speed or power. Instead, he emphasizes different offensive and defensive scenarios, honing his technique and tactics. In addition to pad work, Crawford and his coaches incorporate other training tools, like reaction noodles and a punch shield, to enhance movement and precision. Terence Crawford is also an exceptional shadow boxer, showcasing remarkable skills. One of his standout qualities is his ability to remain calm and adapt seamlessly to various situations in the ring, allowing him to stay one step ahead of his opponents. Crawford excels at throwing both offensive and defensive punches, making it look effortless. But that's not all, he's also incredibly tough mentally. He often trains under challenging conditions to push himself beyond his limits. When he's not doing that, Crawford uses light 2-kilogram dumbbells for shadow boxing, which helps him build strength while maintaining speed and grace. This allows him to deliver powerful punches while staying quick on his feet. Constantly seeking to improve his accuracy and timing, Crawford incorporates the use of a double-end bag into his training. This specific bag helps him work on his footwork and head movement, two crucial skills for success in the ring. Crawford's coach, Daisy, also uses sticks during training to surprise him and force quick defensive reactions. In addition to his rigorous training, Crawford follows a nutrition plan focused on lean proteins, complex carbohydrates, and proper hydration to ensure optimal performance and recovery during camp. As Crawford explained to Muscle and Fitness, "I let my coach handle everything when it comes to food. My nutritionist tells him what she wants me to eat, and she prepares it. The last time, she was with me for the entire camp and took care of all my meals. I don't worry about it, I just eat what they cook."
405. There you go.
Mikey Garcia, the younger brother of Robert Garcia, Ring Magazine's Manager of the Year, was one of the skeptics regarding the fight. The former featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight champion told Fight Hub TV that he didn't fully support the matchup, despite it being highly anticipated by boxing fans. "I'm not a big fan of that fight," Garcia said, pointing out the significant weight difference between the Mexican and American fighters. He also recalled how Crawford struggled against Israel Madrimov when he moved up to 154 pounds, 3 weight classes above his usual division.
There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo.
Despite Crawford's seemingly superior skills, Garcia believes the size difference would be the key factor in a potential matchup. He feels the Mexican fighter's power and size would likely give him the edge. "That's why I'm not a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he needed to at 140 and 147, but now moving up to 154 is even bigger for him," Garcia explained. If Crawford really wants to challenge himself, he could aim for an undisputed fight in his current division. However, Garcia pointed out a significant issue, but there's no money in that. He acknowledged that a fight between Canelo and Crawford would generate significant revenue, but as a fan of the sport, he's not in favor of the matchup. Garcia would rather see Alvarez face fighters within his weight class or even those above, such as Artur Beterbiev or a rematch with Dimitri Bivol.
Fighting at 168, Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66?
Garcia explained that Crawford wanted to challenge himself by moving up to 175 pounds again, facing off against fighters in that weight class rather than a smaller fighter moving up in weight. As the long-anticipated showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez continues to spark excitement and debate within the boxing community, more boxing professionals are weighing in. Crawford, known for his versatility and technical prowess, is looking to move up 2 weight classes to challenge the undisputed super middleweight champion. This bold move has sparked a divide in opinions among boxing experts.
Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size.
One prominent voice adding to the conversation is former heavyweight world champion Deontay Wilder. In a recent interview with ES News, Wilder expressed concerns about Crawford's significant weight jump from 147 pounds to 168 pounds. "That's way too much," Wilder stated. Even if you can switch from southpaw to orthodox, when you're facing those heavier guys, it's a different feeling. It's like you're a baby. I'm not saying you can't knock anyone out or punish them, but it takes time to adjust. The way punches are absorbed is entirely different compared to smaller opponents. Since Wilder's remarks, Crawford has taken a step toward closing the weight gap by capturing the WBA super welterweight title.
If they do, I'll be there. You know what I mean? That's going to be a good one. Both of them great guys. They got great talent. And both of them very determined. Got that killer instinct. And in this sport.
Despite this achievement, a daunting 14-pound weight difference still separates Crawford from Canelo Alvarez, a disparity that could significantly impact the fight's outcome. Canelo, known for his relentless punching power and stamina, has solidified himself as a dominant force in the super middleweight division. Although he has suffered 2 career defeats, both by decision, Canelo has consistently demonstrated exceptional defense and resilience, cementing his status as one of the toughest competitors in boxing. This matchup promises to be an electrifying spectacle, but it also presents a monumental challenge for Crawford.
If they do, I'll be there. You know what I mean? That's going to be a good one. Both of them great guys. They got great talent. And both of them very determined. Got that killer instinct. And in this sport.
To succeed, the Omaha native must demonstrate extraordinary adaptability and resilience against an opponent of Canelo's caliber, especially in a higher weight class. While Wilder's concerns about the weight disparity are valid, the allure of this fight is undeniable, as it pits 2 of boxing's elite talents against each other. This clash of styles and raw power has fans eagerly anticipating what could be one of the sport's most captivating events. Interestingly, Canelo Alvarez already has a guaranteed opponent for 2025, not for the May date, but for his second fight of the year, scheduled for September during Mexico's Independence Weekend in Las Vegas.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see everything.
After much persistence, it appears that Terence Crawford's efforts are finally paying off, as he will face Sheikh Turki Alik for his second fight in 2025. However, Canelo Alvarez's decision to fight Crawford will come at a steep cost for the promoters. As previously anticipated, according to boxing insider Ray Jackson, Canelo Alvarez will receive $150 million for the bout against Crawford, an amount the Guadalajara native had mentioned at the end of 2024 if promoters wanted him to consider the fight. Canelo Alvarez will get $150 million guaranteed for a fight with Crawford, Jackson posted on X. If that payment is made, Saul Alvarez would return to the top of the list of the highest-paid boxers and athletes in 2025, a list from which he dropped out the previous year.
Possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose.
The potential fight in September between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford could become one of the most compelling matchups of the last decade. The year 2025 kicked off with a series of exciting developments for boxing fans, thanks to the numerous highly anticipated fights set to take place over the next 12 months. One of those highly awaited bouts is Canelo vs. Crawford. According to EssentialSports.com, Arab Sheikh Turki Alik is credited with making this fight a reality, as it is reported that he recently met with Canelo to discuss business and negotiate a multi-million-dollar purse for the rights to the Mexican fighter's upcoming bouts.
That's right, Cap. Run it up, Cap. That's right. On the toes. There you go, on the toes.
Alil Sheikh and Canelo have reportedly reached an agreement to stage the fight against Crawford in mid-December, aligning with Mexico's Independence Day celebrations. However, the biggest question surrounding the bout isn't the fight itself, but the weight difference between the 2 fighters. Several boxing experts, including former world champions like Mike Tyson, are questioning how the southpaw from Alabama will manage to match Canelo's weight, which is 2 categories above, creating a 14-pound difference between them. Legendary boxing trainer-turned-analyst Teddy Atlas shared his perspective with Fight Hub TV, stating that he would find it difficult to bet against the American southpaw. Very few people have the appetite or inclination to challenge themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy. Father Time might catch him, but I don't know if a weight class can catch him.
Kid who's getting better, he's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is a talented kid.
It's a tremendous challenge because Canelo is an outstanding fighter, bigger, stronger, and capable of timing his punches perfectly. But just because you're smaller doesn't mean you're at a disadvantage. Crawford will come up with a game plan that forces the other guy to use his size. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, McIntyre praised the undefeated Crawford, who is rumored to be facing Canelo in either May or September. Crawford has all the tools to win a third undisputed title. Any hardcore boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo. You have to understand boxing to say that, BC told Fight Hub.